And here we have my muse, right? Huh, buddy? His name is Vader. Yep, absolutely. You, ah, oh, who's a good boy? Yeah. Are you doing all right? Oh, did you find some? Oh, all right. Do you want to get down? Yeah? Okay. Here you go. There you go. I've written a bunch of novels as an amateur creative writer, and I've not published them. They're not on Kindle or anything like that. But I have found my voice, and I found my theme, as it were. It turns out that my books follow a postmodernism, and I knew I liked fantasy, so I initially started off and I wrote a trilogy of fantasy books, and I did that. I print them out, and so it's the first one is Victim for Life, and then I did Mercer's Scepter, and this is Resurrection's Darkness. And I also keep a folder with notes in them so that I can always refer back to my notes if I want. So I did this in 2011, 12, and 13 when I started off. And so I wrote these 3 novels about an adventure party, very classic fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons like, that kind of thing. And after that, I wrote 2 novels based in Alaska, where I was living, and did dramas. I tried to do dramas, and so for my dramas, I did Kodiak Chaos, and Willow's Widower. And so Kodiak Chaos was an attempt at drama based on a very dysfunctional family tale. And it was quite the story. And then Willow's Widower was about a man trying to find love while recovering from the sense of loss of his wife passing. Then I wrote Seeking Sanctuary, which has a science fiction idea. I based the world on Spain, and it has themes of acceptance, community, and family. Seeking Sanctuary, that was a lot of fun. I got an orange folder to go with that, and then I wrote a novel, a young adult novel called Footprints in the Snow, which is takes place in Poland in the 11th century, and it's very quest-like, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. That was a quite an adventure into my YA. I didn't really enjoy doing that. I like writing more adult fantasy, as it were. And then I wrote Shattering the Illusion, a new widower, Dairo, the rural farmer, struggling with vivid hallucinations and drug-induced nightmares. He journeys among highwaymen, enemy soldiers, and slavers to rescue war orphans to be a hero, only to discover that he's a zero. That's my synopsis sentence. And so that was a lot of fun to write. And that's when I started to realize that the voice I was developing was a postmodernism. And the idea is that postmodernism is based on terror, fear that creates anxiety, And that anxiety that flows out of fear feeds a need to control the uncontrollable. And so all of my novels kind of explore that. Terror that creates anxiety, that feeds the need to control the uncontrollable. And so you have all of that tension. That's postmodernism, and that's where my voice was. And I wrote, not only did I write one young adult, but then I also wrote one science fiction. And this science fiction novel is called The Wounded. It's based on like a King Arthur, a prince that goes off and is scarred and wounded, and his struggle with his place in the universe. And so that was very fun. Science fiction was not my thing, but I did enjoy doing it, and it was a blast. And then the last couple of years, I've been writing a trilogy about being an outsider, being an outcast, being an other. And so I wrote Outsider Among Us, Outsider Among Them, and Outsider Among Other. And so I've been working on that. And in the fantasy realm, I did some research and realized that the ultimate a humanoid that represented being an outsider was in fact the Minotaur. And so I did a Minotaur culture. So it's a Minotaur trilogy, if you will. And so that has also been fun. And I'm finishing out the last of the trilogy on Minotaurs, Outsider Among Others. And I'm looking forward to exploring short stories, flash fiction, and short stories, 100-word stories, as it were. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey.